you would like to speak during the meeting, please use the raise your hand function under the reaction tab and the chair will unmute you. Board of Supervisors will meet in session on the above date with the following members present: Thode, Cochran, Conrad, Montgomery. At this time, I'll call this meeting to order, and now we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 3 is to approve meeting minutes dated July 14th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None. Item 3 passes. Item number 4, approve the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I will motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second. A motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda has been approved. Item number 5, approve consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'll move item 5. Second. I'm sorry, Bob.
Not a problem. We have a motion second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda is passed. Item number 6, direct the Webster County Assessor to make adjustments to include disabled veteran credit for property owned by Lori Thomas for the 2025 tax year and file with the Webster County Treasurer.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 6 passes. Item number 7, approve the increase of county costs for funerals from $800 to $1,250 or $1,250 and transportation fees to and from the state medical examiner's office from $300 to $400 a trip.
Chair, I will move item 7.
I'll second.
Bobby, would you like to get up and speak of why we're doing this? And introduce yourself first.
I'm Rob Gunderson with Gunderson Funeral Home. We brought a proposition back in January for increases for county assistance for cremation services and also the transportation to the state medical examiner's office. It has been $800 for at least 10 years or better. And just with the cost of increase in doing business, just looking to have you revisit that for an increase. Our typical cremation for someone paying a full bill is at least 3 times that. So trying to just make up some of the difference if we can with the cost of everything going up in the world. So
just for clarification, the cost for funerals, that's for qualifying individuals who were indigent at the time of their death with no assets.
correct. And the stipulation is if the county assists, it's for the cremation only, no additional services. We'll post an obituary on our website, but we're not paying anything out of that for cemetery expenses or obituary, anything like that. It's just covering the basics of what is necessary for helping that family. Anything beyond that, they have to do outside of what we're helping them with.
So funerals is actually cremations.
Well, so yeah, the county will only assist for a basic cremation. They changed that probably 10 or 12 years ago from limited funeral services to cremation only, but also reduced what we were getting paid at that time. So I believe it was $1,200 at that time.
Darren, do we have written contracts with the funeral homes, or is this kind of a handshake agreement in the past, or?
We don't have written contracts. I know the health department has a policy guide on this, and I'm not sure what the procedure is for which funeral home gets reached out to, but it's only to
So yeah, us, Bruce's and Law for Sweilers all help families in need. It just depends on who they want to help in that manner. But so really any funeral home can help. So, and I had the original letter back in January had all 3 of our contact information on the bottom that were in agreement on the numbers that we proposed. So, and then as far as the transportation to the state medical examiner's office, If we get called by the medical examiner for a transport to Ankeny, that can be anywhere, day, night, weekend, holiday, bad weather. It's not typically during normal working hours, where we then pick the person up from the hospital and take them to the state medical examiner's office, and then also go down to bring them back. And I believe the reason why it was per trip is, Bruce's might take the person down and then we end up with the call to bring them back. So it's not always the same funeral home taking them down and bringing them back. So that hopefully
Is this in the budget?
It's kind of hard to judge the budget on this because we can't
Right,
count on how many.
but in general,
In general, we'll go until if we have to make the change and we should be fine.
I think the cremations are currently budgeted 25,000 for a fiscal year. And so we may have to up that in order to give the health department the opportunity to service more people.
And I know they have a form that we basically give the family to fill out with their financial information, and, if they own a property or a vehicle, then they're not qualified to, receive that assistance. So we give them the paperwork and then they work it out with the county and they let us know whether they're approved or not.
So I was thinking maybe, Darren, if we could have a contract in place just to protect, that this money is going to families in need, and put some sort of verbiage in there that,
I can look at the policy again. I know Erica from the health department sent me the policy a couple weeks ago when this discussion was going on. But I'll make sure that we're protected on there. I think it's just what we're willing to do. And then obviously there's no requirement for the funeral home to take on any of the individual requirements, but that seems to be the arrangement. My recollection of reviewing it, at least in terms of the cremation policy, is that, we're protected, but I'll take a look at it again.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Thanks, Rob.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We do have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 7 passes. Item 8, approve and authorize the Conservation Director to sign Amendment 1 for the Community Attraction and Tourism Grant Program with the Iowa Economic Development Authority for the Central River District Park and Pavilion, Phase 2 project per recommendation of Matt Cosgrove, Conservation Director.
I'll move item 8.
Second.
Morning, everyone. Matt Cosgrove, Conservation Director. This is a project partnership with the city of Fort Dodge, dates back to February of 24. As you recall, we just finished up Destination Iowa. Enhance Iowa is a different state grant program. This is a $400,000 award that has been given to the city, but the county was a co-applicant in that application as well. It was a continuation of the Phase 1 projects, which we've just wrapped up, including the playscape, the river components, the trails and stuff that are surrounding the Discovery Center. Phase 2 is currently under construction now, and that's the city's 200-person shelter and restroom and trail connections as well. So the county's commitment to that at that time was $500,000. So working with Crystal on that to, figure out, where that comes from and when that payment gets made and that sort of thing to the city when that time comes. But this agreement extension or amendment is because it needs to be extended by a year, the original completion date. The Phase 1 was bumped back by about a year and a half due to the flooding that occurred. And then so this project was delayed. So this is just an extension is basically what the amendment is.
Questions? With the motion is second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Item number 8 passes. Thank you. Item number 9, receive and place on file bids for golden medal safety padding for the Webster County Jail.
Second.
Mark, would you explain what's going on with this, please?
Mark Gargano, Jail Administrator. It's coming up to 4 years since I've been Jail Administrator, and during that time, one of the first tasks I was greeted upon was with replacing the padded cell because it was destroyed by an inmate. So back in December of 2022, we spent $23,200 on that padded cell. And the company that did that is no longer doing that service. And as you can see, some of the different problems that we've had within the padded cell, that's after it was done. The second time that they had to do this, they sprayed a very thick coating on there, which made the thing susceptible to cracking. As you can see, the cracks, and you get somebody that's in a state of distress would find that crack and literally tear the wall apart. The floor became an issue after it was done. The second time, this is after the second time it was done, it was a terrible job. So we've struggled in the last several years to keep people in there safely. Of course, when they're in a state of mental health crisis, it's very difficult. And again, the floor stained literally 2 weeks after the padded cell was put in. The materials they used were terrible, so you had the staining and the cracking on top of that. You can see the overview that it looked terrible after a very short period of time. And again, that company is no longer in business, so we reached out to Marathon Engineering. It's been in business since 1973 and is the major provider and builder of these cells. There's a picture of the door that started out small, so a trip to Menards with some of the, as seen on TV, repair putty was on the door, and it just progressed from that to the bottom section was completely ripped off to, I think the next, we can see it was used on the wall several times for those hairline cracks. And I think one of the next pictures shows that's the camera location after that was ripped out, $1,500 in damage done there, kind of because of the design of the padded cell. There's what the door looks like today. The padding has been completely removed, and we had the measurements so we could obtain a quote for that. So it's taken a beating. When it's completed, this is what, in theory, it will look like as this company comes in and retrofits the whole thing. And what we're asking for also is the funds to redo one of our detox cells because of the fact that we've had people in there for literally weeks at a time. We do not have a backup cell, and clearly we know that people can come in various states of wanting to harm themselves or others, and we have no place to put them that's safe. So that's kind of what the North Detox looks like right now. With the half wall, the floor and the walls would be padded and have a second location for us because clearly the number of people that need help has not decreased. So this does give us the ability to repair this on our own. As Nikki can speak to, we worked with that company and it was months and months to get them to respond. This way, with this new product, we're able to get a repair kit and make the repairs here and not wait for somebody to come from Chicago or Florida, which was the case in the past.
Jail Administrator Gargano, about how much would you say that we've spent on the padded cell alone? I know when I first was here, it was a mess. It smelled, it was
Right.
ripped up, it was covered in abhorrent things. About how much since then would you say that we've spent on it?
I'd say clearly in excess of $30,000. I mean, 23,000 just to repair it, plus all the damages that have been done. We had to replace the light fixture, as you see up there was a new one. That's over $2,000 to replace that. And again,
Is that plus the camera?
the camera was $1,500. The light was over $2,000. And just the time and repair needed to fix those cracks and patch the door up. So.
And we just have the one padded cell, right?
Correct.
Okay.
That's just in, did you say 4 years that you've been administrator?
That is correct.
I know predating you and our previous administrators with Wally, it was a problem then too. So it's an ongoing expense. I had one question about, this appears to be a very highly specialized contractor that's required for this. Do you know if there are any other competitors out there? Was there any competitive bidding, or is it like this is?
This is the main company that does them, like the new Dallas County Jail, and they've done several in Iowa. It's a very specialized product that's used. That's why this other company got out of it. They started as a floor coating company and somehow got into padded cells and
Probably shouldn't have.
did not do a good job.
The other question I would have on this, and you've checked on their reputation, I notice on the bids that one of them will give us a approximately $2,400 discount and the other one at $2,350 if we pay it up front and get them on the way. Would that be your recommendation also?
I would recommend that so we can save a substantial amount of money. I don't know if that's typically done or how that works, but that would be
Yeah.
favorable.
Find ways to try to save money and,
Sure.
and try to, okay, is there any other questions on item number 9?
Just, that something budgeted for, knowing it was coming for this year, or is this,
It was not budgeted, no.
think there's money in your budget? That, or is that something you're probably gonna need additional funding for?
We would certainly need additional funding for it. Thank you.
All in favor of item number 9?
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 9 passes. Item number 10, approved bid for padding for the Webster County Jail.
Moved.
Oh. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions?
Specify the amount and.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was the actual breakdown, with and without those paint and advance deductions for each of the 2 rooms, Bob, if you got that?
Yeah, the gold medal safety padding one is 25,462. And if we pay it early, it's a 9.25% discount or $2,358 discount. And the other one was $26,791, and with the 9.25% discount was 2,478 discount on that one.
So around 24,000 in that ballpark.
Yeah,
for
should
each
be
of the paint and advance.
right. Okay,
So then I move, we take the low bid of
there's no little bit, but that's the only bid we've got.
25. All right.
All those in favor of approving the bid for the padded cell, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 10 passes. Item 11, approve resolution number 2026-117, approved bylaws and rules of procedure for the Webster County Public Safety Authority.
Chair, I will move item 11.
Second.
I have a motion second. We have any discussions on this?
Oh, typos. All right, so to begin with, and I'm sure the city took care of this, but based on the paperwork we have, I assume that's where we're at. In the resolution authority that we got sent out, it still has Nick Carlson listed as who we elected, and we elected Ernie Kirsten. So if we could fix that, that would be great. And then within the Webster County Safety Authority bylaws, under section 307, time of board meetings, where it says within or without the state of Iowa, I would rather that read within Webster County. I don't know why our jail authority would need to meet outside of the state, and we have laws for electronic meetings that allows for one or more members to be away from the meeting and call in while we still physically would hold an open meeting at a location that people could come to.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. For public openness, this is about Webster County and the city of Fort Dodge. So at the very least, the meetings I think would be appropriate so that the most number of people could appear in person to participate from the public, that be changed to Webster County. I'm thinking that's probably just stock language and there's probably not any intent to meet outside the state. But I think that would be a disservice to the openness that we're trying to engage in this process. So I would recommend that change as well, that the meetings all occur within Webster County.
So would that mean, so wait, there's 2 things. I'm trying to find both of these in my paperwork. The one thing is in the actual resolution itself. Is that what you said, John?
It is in the resolution is where Nick was at. And this is in the Webster County Public Safety Authority bylaws section
Wait, in the actual resolution itself or in the bylaws?
bylaws.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Section 307.
3.07.
Okay.
And would you like open
Wait,
meeting?
wait. Let's go back in chronological order of what you said. Carlson, where?
He is in our resolution of Webster County Public Safety.
The one that we're voting on today, 2026-17? I don't see his name in there.
This is in all the supporting documents that we got just yesterday morning. So it is my understanding at this point, we are voting on our bylaws, voting to approve these bylaws and everything else.
Okay, but where is his name? Because I got to be able to specifically say where it needs to be changed.
All right, so we are in.
But I don't see it in the actual resolution itself. That's,
What is my understanding is the most.
This is the resolution that
Okay.
is on the,
100% on board.
where,
There's a lot of stuff not in the board.
this is the, where is this? This is the,
I
this is a resolution we already did. Yeah. So we can't change,
we've already fixed that.
we've already approved that.
Okay,
We've
so that
approved
is
one
why that one was
because
so.
it was- Just to let y'all know, that the one he was talking about is the approval to elect the commissioners. So that one already should have
We already fixed that.
Ernest's name
Back on the 22nd.
last meeting. So,
Okay.
but
So-
yeah, good catch. So this one though, the other one though, with the Iowa one, that is in the bylaws, right? That's
Correct.
section 3.07.
0.07.
Okay. So I see that. Thank you, John. Darren,
Yes.
just looking it over now.
would this be something, because this is something that both the Board of Supervisors and the Joint Authority and the city have to approve?
Yes.
How do we then, we are the last checkpoint
Yeah,
on this
well,
process right
when-
now? How do we do that?
So we approve it, and it's kind of like when you go through the House and the Senate, you're going to have to make sure you both agree on the verbiage. So if we've required changes that maybe they didn't on the first step, they're going to have some sort of additional meeting to adopt our changes. So we're all on the same page and have an identical document.
So I would then change my motion to adjust that specific language based on John's recommendation, and you're co-signing that, right? And I think the same.
Yeah.
So I would then do that. You had the second, so he would amend his second.
And I don't know that that's all the changes. I know we're digging into it, but whatever changes are recommended
Right.
today that we all agree to vote on, or you
Then-
all agree to vote on, then we'd have to take that change version back to the city and say, hey, city, we changed this, this, and this. You need to adopt this for us to.
Would we have to send it back to the Public Safety Authority first and have them?
Oh, because it's their draft that they sent on to us.
Yeah,
Yes, we can say these are the changes we require from the joint authority. And technically then they could pass it on and then we could adopt. But right now it's kind of an editing stage, it appears, because we aren't all in the same as to what the terms need to be.
okay.
So yes, once we get all our changes, send it back to them, they make the changes, pass it, and then after the city and the county have made all their required changes, that makes it into their document, and then we can just say yes at the next.
Okay, I just don't want to screw this up.
I know on timelines. I mean, you may have to do.
No, I mean, just like in general, because this is
No,
so
no, no,
new
that's-
for all of
that would
us.
be the appropriate way to do it then.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
That they need to make these changes, but I certainly think they should for some of these. And like I said, I don't know if John or anyone else has any other changes, but they'll all have to be uniform and go through that process.
got it. John, did you have any other?
Not approving them because we can't approve bylaws that have been sent to us that have already been approved. So I would amend the motion to recommend the following changes. And then have your list. Then we'll have to go back to the joint authority to approve that, come back to us and we'll do another approval of bylaws. Does that make sense? I would just change this to recommend changes to City of Fort Dodge and first joint authority and City of Fort Dodge, just to make sure they're in agreement with whatever changes this board comes up with.
So now I have a question about, this isn't a change. So in our rules of procedure for this, they need to provide notice 48 hours in advance, and their bylaw for a regular meeting, and their bylaws, it says only 72 hours. Sorry, that's not only, it says 72 hours, which is more. Which one would win on that? Their bylaws or rules of procedure?
Their bylaws, they're going to need, and it's an extended period, they're going to have to comply with their bylaws,
Okay.
whichever's the most notice. Yep.
So then that is really all I have got.
I did have a question on this. Is there anything in this? I know this is a public safety authority and it's under that's the renaming of it, under a joint building authority template. Is there anything in here that specifies it must be specifically for the use of a public safety building versus being able to, let's say at a later date, use this authority to do something with other real estate?
I mean, once this board is created, if say a second building project came up, that I have not researched that specifically, whether this authority, I'm assuming that once this project is done and this entire project has run its course, that board would then be dissolved and that you'd probably start anew. I'd have to look to see if it's possible that board would stay active indefinitely. So in the event another joint project came up, they could jump in. That's not how I understand what the plan is. But I can research to see if that's a possibility. I know that's not anybody's intent at this point.
Correct. Certain, it's not mine.
Yeah.
Okay. But for right now, I think, did anybody have any other additions or recommendations? Okay, then I will amend my motion to say, I will move to recommend the resolution with the change of language in section 3.07. Any meeting of the Board of Commissioners may be held at any place with or without within Webster County,
Iowa. Yeah.
Iowa.
Yeah.
That sound good?
Yeah, don't want to
Okay.
go into Missouri.
That's right.
I will amend my second to reflect the same there.
It's the only change we need. This will be a roll call vote.
Cochran, aye.
Conrad, I.
Montgomery, aye.
Vote aye. Item number 11 passes. Item number 12, accept low bid for July 14th, 2026 bid letting in the amount of $320,988.58 from Fort Dodge Asphalt for project L 2027-17394.
I'll move item 12.
Second.
Have a motion, a second. Jamie?
Jamie Joel, County Engineer. The project number refers to the 230th Street paving between Highway 169 and South River Road. At the last board meeting, we opened the bids for that. There was only one bid that was close to our estimate, so I recommend accepting that bid from Fort Dodge Asphalt.
Motion, a second on item number 12. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Item 12 passes. Item 13, approve a contract with Fort Dodge Asphalt for project L 2027-17394 in the amount of $320,988.58 and authorize Jamie Joel, County Engineer, to sign the contract documents.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on second on item 13. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Item 13 passes. Item 14, approve resolution number 2026-16, updating the speed limit on South River road north of 230th Street.
I'll move item 14.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Jamie, you want to fill us in on that one?
Yeah, this is an unpaved road, goes past a semi-residential area. And it's on a vertical and horizontal curb. So we had a request through Nathan to reduce the speed limit there, and we looked into it and it seems justified. So this resolution would reduce the speed limit to 45 miles per hour along that stretch of road.
Why is it justified to lower it to 45 miles per hour?
They're on a vertical curve and a horizontal curve, so there's not a ton of sight distance. And
Decent amount of homes there too on that little stretch as well.
Is there any accident history at that location? Or this is just a precaution based on the risk that's out?
I'm not aware of any accidents, but
there was, in the past 4 years, there was one property damage only.
Motion on second on item 14. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
It's a roll call.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
correct. Roll call vote, please.
Cochran, aye.
Conrad, aye.
Montgomery, aye.
Vote aye. Item 14 passes.
Thanks, Jamie.
Item number 15. Consider applicants to fill vacancy for the office of Webster County Auditor and Commissioner of Elections, and appoint Webster County Auditor and Commissioner of Elections pursuant to Iowa Code Section 69.14A. The period of appointment shall be from date of appointment until a qualified elector is elected on November 3rd, 2026.
Mr. Chair, I would like to move item 15. We had one applicant who met the deadline. And so I would like to motion that we appoint Crystal Lloyd as our Webster County Auditor and Commissioner of Elections.
I will second that motion.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed? Congratulations, Crystal. Item number 16, Melissa Lure from Iowa Primary Care would like an update to the board about the Iowa Primary Care. Hello there.
You all. Just so I'm set real fast, when Austin and I talked, we didn't really talk about a time limit. So how long do I have? Okay. All right. Perfect. Just kidding. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. Again, my name is Melissa Lear, and I'm with the Iowa Primary Care Association. And so I want to tell you a little bit about what that is as we get started. So the Iowa Primary Care Association is the Behavioral Health Administrative Service Organization. Prior to July 1st of 2025, the state of Iowa had mental health regions. And so I would imagine maybe one of you, Board of Supervisors, sat on the CICS board. Okay. And so at that period of time, was that you, Ms. Conrad? All right, perfect. And so the CICS was the Mental Health and Disability Service region. We had, prior to 2025, we had about 11 to 14, just depending on our counties. The way that makeup was, counties put themselves into regions for, again, to administer those behavioral health and mental health services. There was a reprocurement of those services in late 2024, and those got reprocured. And so what the state did was the state said we are going to have behavioral health administrative services, and then we're going to have disability access points. So taking those mental health regions, dissolving those, and standing up a new behavioral health system in the state of Iowa. What was previously overseen by the counties is now at one period of time was kind of infused with a hybrid of dollars. So it was both county and state, and now it's overseen by the state of Iowa. So my background, just to tell you a little bit about myself, I am originally from Spencer, so I live in Clay County. Prior to this transition, I've been with Iowa Primary Care for about a year. Prior to that, I was employed with Clay County for about the last 6 years prior to that, and I was the CEO of one of the mental health regions, Care Connections. And so I do bring with me, I bring that up because I bring with me a lot of information from that transition, and really I think have been a good, as we are moving into the future, kind of that good link between, the past and what we're moving ahead in. So with those changes, just kind of that broad background of kind of what happened with those changes, I'm really here again to talk about the Iowa primary care and the behavioral health system with that regional transfer. So again, when those changed, we did have district maps, and I'm going to And so what I have there for you on that document has some information about system navigation, which I will get to. But what I wanted to most importantly point out on that piece of paper is there's a little map at the bottom. And for some of you, you are very familiar with that. Maybe you are not. But that is the new district map. So across the state of Iowa, it's been broken up into mental health and disability districts. And there are 7 districts across. We are in District 2. That is about 14 counties that I would say would be kind of central, north central, mid central Iowa. With that, so the 14 counties, each region is made out about, each district is made about 13 to 14 counties. Dependent on that. Most of them have kind of a metropolis city in them or some kind of metro city. In District 2, we're a little unique. We have Webster or Fort Dodge is the largest population we have there. Second to Spencer. And then we have a lot of very rural areas outside of that. District 2 is the most rural across the state of Iowa, especially when we talk about landmass and the distances between those areas. The population in that sits about 180,000. Give you an example, District 7 on there, that's 1.8 million individuals in that district. District 3 is about 300,000 individuals. So we have a pretty unique diversity, what that looks like. Again, my history has always been in kind of rural Iowa, served many of these counties for a long time. So something that I'm very familiar with to do. And so with those changes, we've really, we have district teams. And so myself as the leader, I oversee what I would say the systems of the mental health services. And then we have a lead system navigator and then system navigation, which does all the boots on the ground work, which I'll talk about. With the changes with this, and so at the period of time when we had that, as we talked about, the old regions had governance boards, and that was because we had levies, right? It was our county property tax dollars that paid for that. So the Board of Supervisors oversaw that, and just depending on how that was done, many of the times there was 2080 agreements, things like that, which created the regions. When those dissolved, the Iowa Primary Care has a board of directors, and through that, so they have a governing board. But what also was needed is to have district advisory boards. Huge important thing we have. So each of the 7 districts has a district advisory board. They are made up of pretty much the same membership across as far as its legislated mandate. So we have elected officials, we have providers, we have individuals with lived experience on our board. Just to kind of let you know who your representatives in your area are, we have Sheriff Chris Raveling from Clay County, your own Sheriff Luke Fleener. We have Sheriff John King from Palo Alto. We have Kristen Sewell, the Humboldt Public Health Director. Kelly Grunwald, she's the CEO of Prairie Ridge Services. Jason Harrington, who's the hospital CEO of Lakes Regional Hospital. Katie Royster here from town. She's at the school. Autumn Lauritsen over in the Worth County area, Chief Bo Miller from Algona, and Damon Schultz from the Sac City area. So have some really good representation on that. You will notice we have 3 law enforcement. Was that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 4 law enforcement officers. The slate calls for 3 elected officials and law enforcement. And so obviously our law enforcement can be an elected official or law enforcement. We have a really high law enforcement on that. We do a lot with justice involved services. I kind of, listening to your jail administrator and the individuals that you house in your jail, I'm going to talk a little bit about how we can also treat together those individuals in your jail as well. So the district advisory councils, they meet quarterly. They just met at the beginning of the month, mid-July. We're still in July. We're getting close. Mid-July. And what we did at that last meeting was we're just finishing up our district assessments. And so early at the beginning of this year, January, February, we went out across the state and we met with all of the contracted providers. And so that's about 110 through the Iowa primary care. In my past previously, there was lots of contracts, and CICS and my agency in the past would have the same contract with the same agency. With the administrative oversight, it's one contract now for administrative ease. And so what we did was we met with a lot of those contractors. We asked the same series of questions. I like to kind of say what's the good, the bad, and the ugly of what you're doing, and let's walk through that and let's figure out how to work better in these processes and what can we do to combat the behavioral health challenges we have today in our society. And so we spent a lot of time talking to them about what their needs were. The main things we heard were transportation and workforce were big issues, and that is very true in rural Iowa. Some of the facts that came out as we looked at is District 2. Again, it's the most rural, but it also has the highest alcohol death rate across the state of Iowa. It is higher than than the national average and the national average in the state of Iowa. So that is something that is concerning. And so I bring that up as well because our district advisory boards are talking about those numbers. We're presenting that information. But I also bring that up to you as a county because you guys also receive opioid dollars. And so I'm sure you have money or situations in figuring out what you're doing with that. If you have subcommittees, each county I've talked to is doing things a little bit differently. And so wanting to be able to provide that information to you guys as counties and boards and things like that as well. So you guys can make informed decision on those dollars. Very much outside of like District 5, Polk County, their number one with death was opioid use. And so again, we're seeing it as alcohol here. So just being mindful about how to use that. Obviously that data and science kind of drives us to doing some different things. So we presented a lot of that information to our district advisory councils and said, what now? There's a lot of things to handle, right, across the behavioral health world, and there's a lot of things to combat, but where do we start, right? And so we can't move the whole puzzle overnight. It's a big ship to steer. So where do we start with that? And so we were visiting with our councils about that. Where do we invest our time? Where do we invest our energy to start that? Had some really good discussions. That now finalizing those, we're finishing up our district plans. So online, there's a toolkit for all of you guys to look at that has assessments on each of the districts. It has what our big fact finding things were that we found. And then we're going to be releasing very soon with our partners at HHS. We're going to be releasing our district plan. So that's going to talk specifically about what we're going to do in these 14 counties, where specifically we need to have those targets and what we're going to do and what those tactics are going to be and how our community partners can work together. So the behavioral health system is not Iowa primary care. It's not HHS. It is all of our system. We have community partners that all have to work together to make this thing work. So that's what we're doing. So that's kind of our assessment. So soon to be coming out, you'll see that information, which will really, again, pinpoint the data with what we see. And a lot of it at times in my career has been a lot of anecdotal things, right? We get data, but we don't always move it to the right places. And so it's really being succinct with that data to be able to tell a vision and a story and collecting it across the state. The first year I'd say was a lot of baselining, right? We moved the system from a different place. We moved all the systems and we just kind of left it be for a while. We wanted to make sure everything stayed status quo, and everything did that first year. And so now we're looking at, again, how to implement things, how to add, and how to, again, build onto our system. Kind of switching gears a little bit just to make sure I get it through all my topics. Coming back to the county, so outside of district assessments, what we've been doing, a lot of counties ask questions about commitments, things like that. And so anything with that. So commitments, you will have Kathy Erickson as your mental health advocate. That process hasn't changed with anything as far as what their roles are. Again, her salary, that is reimbursable through the Iowa primary care. So I'm not exactly sure. I'm not into those details, but normally in other counties, either the mental health advocate prepares that, the auditor prepares that, sends that invoice into Iowa primary care, and then gets reimbursed for those services. And so we do have some documentations and things like that for billing that I can sure send. I know you just appointed a new auditor. Congratulations. So if that is information, maybe we can connect after and I can get that to you. And so commitments, that is what we're doing with commitments. There's a little bit of confusion sometimes on that. If it's a mental health commitment and they're co-occurring with substance abuse, that is paid for Iowa Primary Care Association. If it is just solely a substance abuse committal alone, and I don't know how you do it in your county, some do with their numbers, they do MH, or they do SUD. You do MH. Oh, well, there it is. Okay. And so so that that sometimes takes just a little bit more work because if it's just solely substance abuse, that is still paid for directly from the county budget. A lot of people ask me, well, why? It's behavioral health. That should be together. As far as my understanding is the legislature, how it is written in the legislature on payment for substance abuse is still a county responsibility, where it is for when it's co-occurring, that falls into the Iowa primary care. So a little bit of differentiation with that. We always try to help out with that as those come in. Again, this has been happening for the last year. I haven't heard any concerns. So I bring that to you if maybe it's not a big deal to you, but just bring that so for awareness for you all. Other things with commitments, again, is that transport. So any of the attorney fees, that's reimbursable. So we get invoices directly from attorneys. They can send those in. If we have any attorneys, or I know we have the county attorney in this room, there's timeframes on that. So they do need to get their billing in as soon as possible because we can't keep paying out of different fiscal years. And so that is something I know court-appointed attorneys are, not to sound bad, they're not always great about sending in their billing right away. I think we know that. So we really want to make sure that we get that. So if you have any attorneys that you can pass that message on to, send it as quickly as possible so you get reimbursed. The other thing, so we also reimburse transportation. So when a deputy is transporting someone for a commitment, that can be reimbursable. Or if they tend to divert that, sometimes they can use the Yes Center, or they can use Central Iowa Juvenile Detention, or some kind of secure transport. As long as the sheriff designates someone else, that commitment can be paid for. That transportation can be paid for as well. I think that's as far as commitments go, those are kind of the big overall areas with that. And then last but not least, I just wanted to chat a little bit about navigation. So the document that I gave you as well, that has information on system navigation. And so this is really, again, maybe a public plea as well. So we have system navigation that started on July 1st of 2025. Prior to that, with a lot of the regions, they had service navigators that worked in different areas to help individuals that were needing services, whether they were incarcerated, getting out of jail, they needed just assistance with social services. Those navigators those coordinators would help them. With Iowa Primary Care, the state of Iowa said, we're going to do it differently. We're going to do a low barrier. We're going to do something way different. And so we're going to do system navigation. And so system navigation is a service. It's available 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. It is not a crisis service. So that doesn't replace the crisis system in which we have in the state of Iowa. But what it does do is 8 to 4:30, a person can call into the system navigation line, and two ways that it can be accessed. Let's just say if I'm going to speak from a provider role first. So if I'm a board of supervisor, if I'm a nurse, if I'm a teacher, something to that effect, I am working, or someone comes to me and says they need help, they need some kind of resources. And you think it's behavioral health related, right? You may not know, or it's a social determinant to health, food, shelter, those basic necessities. They can call into system navigation and they can kind of talk about what their issues are, what their needs are. And at that period of time, our system navigators can start working right with them at that period of time to help meet their mental health needs, whatever that would be. So each district has a designed set of devoted system navigators that are devoted to District 2. We have several navigators that are located here in your county. And then outside of the county, across District 2, we have other navigators located. And then across the state, each district has their own pocket of navigators. The neat thing is, though, when you call, if just to say all the District 2 navigators were busy when you called in, you may get bumped to the District 3 or District 4 navigators, but they're all talking and they're all experts across the state of all the different things. So we have people that are local experts honed in, but then we have people that are experts in the system in all the different areas, so they can work together and they can collaborate to meet needs. What kind of things do our system navigators do? Anything under the sun. Connect to therapy appointments, connect to food banks, connect to psychiatric appointments, connect to inpatient services, talk with people, hook them up with resources. So there's really no wrong reason you can call. Early on, I know someone called and said, I need assistance to my medical appointment for surgery. That's not necessarily mental health, but when we found out that, at that period of time after conversation, they lost their job because of behavioral health, they lost their transportation. So it all added up where we were able to create a bigger picture of what happened and how to be able to assess them with them. And so what our navigators do is they're reaching out to the resources that exist in the world today, and they're making sure that they can match those individuals up. Sometimes there's resources, a lot of the times there are, sometimes those are paid supports. And so it may be like like your Berry Hill here in town. It may be CFR that we're referring them to. It could be that we're referring them to the local church. It could be that we're referring them to the Beacon. Any of those different things, whatever is available, whatever meets their need, that's what we're going to do. It's client choice as well, and it's a voluntary program. So we're going to work with individuals as best as we can. We don't require releases. We don't require any eligibility for them. They just simply call and we will sort them where they need to go. Sometimes we often see that people will say, well, the system is so big and complex. It can be. And so that's why we want to have experts that can help you navigate that. The really neat thing is, so that can be for anyone to call. I can call because my sister, my mom, my neighbor, I can call and talk with them. I can also, if I've talked to my neighbor, let's just say, and say, hey, I see something is going on. Would you welcome a call? I can call system navigation as well and say, hey, here's so-and-so, here's my neighbor, Johnny, next door. Would you be willing to give him a call? He's okay with that. And then if they give him a call back, again, low barrier, they're not out to seek and find anyone, and they'll only do it with permission. But again, they want to make those connections. And not only do they do that, but they will follow up and close that loop. So if you made it a therapy appointment, they won't just hand you numbers and say, good luck. They'll make that appointment warm handoff with you. They'll follow up with you. How did that go? Are you meeting your needs? And so continue to do follow-up as long as is needed. They will also attach them to someone if they need long-term care and supports. We still have disability access points. CICS exists. It's just in a different world today, dealing with long-term care and supports and individuals. And so we may link them up to them to be able to get long-term care and supports. Maybe it's with a waiver service that our state of Iowa has. So we're always looking at how to connect them. Again, a great way that it's been described is that system navigation is like a connecting flight, right? So when I'm going to get on, I'm going to have a connection because I need to get to, maybe I need to get from Chicago, I need to get to Dallas. And so that my connection there is going to be that system navigation. That's going to be the resources that I need to get. So I can hopefully, Dallas is maybe my therapist, right? And I'm going to get there and I'm going to have the resources that I need. But guess what? If I need a connecting flight back, I'm going to be able to call and I can talk to the same navigator. I can do the same thing, or I can talk to somebody different. So the idea is that we want to have local, and our navigators are local. They go out to the coalitions, they go out and they meet with individuals. They're out in the communities as well. They're also serving in in-person locations now. We're just in the final stages of getting the agreement signed here in Webster County. So I'll be able to share that location very, very soon with you. We have locations in Humboldt, we have Calhoun County, Clay. And so we're just popping up as we go across the state. We're getting locations. So we have about 50 navigators and we have about 26, 27 locations secured right now with agreements with individuals and things like that. So more to come. Our goal is to get every single one of them placed in different communities. And so they may go to like Clay County for 2 days and then go to Worth County for 2 days. So they're splitting their time in different areas where they're at. And so with the navigation, the one thing I wanted to make sure that I added is the number that you have on that. There's 2 numbers for it. So again, if I am what I'd consider a professional, I'm calling for someone else that doesn't need a crisis screening, I can call directly a 515 number and I can talk directly to a navigator. If I'm not in those shoes, let's just say I am a client or I'm with someone and we really don't know kind of where they need to go. What we tell people to do, and I'll hand these out as well, is we have them call Your Life Iowa. Your Life Iowa is our suicide and warm line here in Iowa. It also is our 988. So for those that don't know, 911 calls the police and 988 is for suicide and behavioral health issues. And so what Your Life Iowa can do, you can call this number. Doesn't have to be an emergency. If it is, you can call 918. If it's not, you can call this 855 number. What they're going to do is you're going to get a trained counselor on the phone immediately, and they're going to do a crisis screening. So what we want is, or what we don't want is, we don't want people coming to navigation in a mental health crisis because they're not ready to take the resources in at that time. We need to deal with the crisis at hand. And so that's where they would be screened through a therapist at that point in time, through the counselor. They would be screened, and then whatever services would need to happen at that time would. If we need a mobile crisis dispatch, we're going to dispatch out mobile crisis, whether that's Plains, Irely Ball, we're going to dispatch them out. The crisis system still exists. Mobile crisis exists. All of our crisis services still exist. None of that has changed. We've complemented onto the service with these navigators to help get them into those areas a little bit quicker. So with the navigators, when you call, again, they'll do a crisis screening. If they determine that they don't need crisis, they'll give them referrals, and then they'll make a warm handoff to us. Again, if it's 8 to 4:30, call into our navigators and say, hey, Jenny, this is Sue here. I got John on the phone, and and this is what's been going on. And, he's needing a few things. And so they talk through that. They'll continue to follow up and work with John on those things. And so really develops that comfort level. And guess what? John starts to call back at times and we'll call directly to our navigator and we'll call Lacey and say, hey, Lacey, this is what I need. This is what's going on. And they develop that relationship. But again, if Lacey's not there, then he could call and he could talk to a different navigator that next day as well. So those are the different things as far as the navigation goes. We want to make sure that there's a place for everyone to go. And if they call after hours, they can leave a message and we'll get back to them the next day. Again, it's a non-crisis service. So, we do want them to continue to go to where the crises are, but we want to continue to build them and we want to be holistic around them to be able to provide those services. Last but not least, I just want to add that with the other thing that Iowa Primary Care does is that we provide telehealth. So in the school, in schools, in jails, and in the hospital. And so schools have the ability to, again, contract with whoever they want. We have the ability to also have Classroom Clinic or Hazel Health where schools can sign up and have their students access therapy services through telehealth. In the hospital, they use ITP, and that also allows, so if someone needs to come into a rural hospital or a clinic, see a therapist. I'm sorry, not a therapist, see a psychiatrist and get a med check and determine if they need to be inpatient or any of those screenings. They can do that at that time in the hospital, and then they'll also do the bed search for the bed, which takes a long time, and that really takes a lot off the nurses and the staff to be able to do that to get those individuals placed. We also provide ITP. I believe you guys use ITP in the jail, ITP in the jail, and that provides those same telehealth individual for medical and medications and things like that so that we can hopefully get them stabilized in jail while they're there and work on that piece so as they discharge out. And the other thing is, and the flyers that we have again are for system navigation. I think I might have given you the jail one. We want inmates to call, if that's okay with your jail administrator, if they have access to a phone, if they can call our system navigators and start working on some of their discharge things right then in the jail, we are happy to work on that with them. We don't want them to wait till the day that they discharge. We want to be working with them because we don't always know when they're going to discharge either, right? And so we want to be working with them as they go so that hopefully we can be working in conjunction with you as we move forward. And so our navigators can continue to provide that level of care. And I think we have even some of your own. I think one of the deputies' wives is one of our navigators as well. So just a couple of those things. I know I've given you a lot of information today. I will take a breath and I will gladly take any questions you guys would have.
I wrote down questions and you answered them.
Oh,
So-
wonderful. I knew if I get through my spiel, it
No, I
normally
was
goes.
like, oh, well, she answered that. Oh, well, she answered that. So thank you.
Perfect. Well, thank you all. I will leave my card with you as well. So if you ever need to get a hold of me, there's a QR code on the back. That QR code takes you to our website. It has our district advisory boards. You can go back, you can watch those. It has all of our data documents. The HHS website has the toolkits as well. You can dive right in and see exactly what's happening in District 2. You can see the stats that I provided. And my hope is to come back about every 6 months and just provide an update to you guys as the board. Hopefully next time I can be our navigator and share some information about kind of what the first year looks like, what those call numbers look like, and what we're doing. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Normally I would go to the citizens' opportunity, but I'm going to take a quick recess and hopefully we will get her sworn in here in just a few moments.
and have people sit down. All right, we're back. Oh,
Ready? You raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Crystal Lloyd, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
Support the Constitution of the United States.
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa. And that I will faithfully and impartially, best of my ability, discharge all the duties of the office of County Auditor in Webster County, Iowa, as now or hereafter required by law. Congratulations. All right, Wood, we would sign the date.
tell us how you really.
Is complete, driver's report. By 28th day of July 2026, report document from Iowa, signed Derek Johnson, District Court Judge, Second Division. Congratulations.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Beach.
Very good. Okay, at this time, we'll take the citizens' opportunity to address the board with items not on the agenda. Come up, yeah. Identify yourself and
Eric Black, Johnson Township. Got a question for Jamie. I know you probably don't have much luck talking to CN Railroad, but we got a bridge southeast of Barnum that's closed, right? And then a mile west of Barnum, the crossing is so rough that if you don't slow down to 25 mile an hour with a semi, you'll clean your dash off. Is there anything you can do to get those projects moving?
like to stand up to the mic, please.
Jamie Joel, County Engineer. Yeah, I've been in contact almost daily with Canadian National on the bridge. Not getting very far very fast, but they're working on it. Kind of complicated things that they don't want to do too much to that bridge because it was already slated to be replaced. So they're having a lot of internal discussions about it, and it's hard doing anything with the railroad, but I'm in contact with them, trying to push them along. I know, excuse me, I know, and it, unfortunately, the railroad owns that bridge, so I couldn't have a contractor come and repair it if I wanted to. We're kind of at their mercy on that. But trying to do whatever we can. The crossing I wasn't aware of, but I will, I'll make a note to take a look at that today. So it's, did you say a mile west of there? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. I mean, it's another thing that is the railroad. We can't force them to do it, but with crossings, if it gets bad enough where it becomes a danger, they usually come and fix that right away. But the bridge, I don't know. I don't have a good answer on timeline.
Is there anyone else? Okay, Board of Supervisor Committee reports.
All right, well, in the last 2 weeks, we had our Midas meeting. They will need bus drivers. especially out there in the Rockwell City area. Upcoming, I have the landfill tonight. I have the opioid committee on Wednesday. They will be having events coming up in August. Then there is CICS on Thursday. And as far as things to look at to do here in the county, while it's still summer, you're trying to keep the kids out of the house, look at APHIS, Parks and Rec, churches, conservation. And of course, there's lunch on Central this Friday. All things that you could do to keep the kids out of the house.
Hi. All right. Speaking of keeping the children out of the house, last Thursday, I had my public art commission meeting. We discussed the Expo Park sculptures. If you haven't been out there, there are 3 different sculptures from 3 different artists out there. It's pretty cool. We discussed, actually, I should say I kind of was quiet the whole time, discussed funding sources for more sculptures in that area and some beautification of common public areas around downtown and the River District. Then last Friday, I had a city-county meeting at the Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance. There was a lot of productive conversation on the ag park and site certification, the ways the city and county can collaborate on the challenges we're seeing, and what's going on with the Public Safety Authority. So a lot of good stuff going on.
Wellness meeting this afternoon at 2 o'clock, and then at 5 o'clock today have Upper Des Moines meeting across the street. That's everything I have. Brenda?
Last Thursday, was at the hazard mitigation meeting, and for the first time since I've been here, I now have homework to do. And it's got to be done by the 3rd, so I wasn't given a deadline. Central Iowa Juvenile Detention was Friday, and I'll be heading back over there again on Thursday. Darren?
I just wanted to give a shout out to Brad McIntyre, my first assistant county attorney, who last week was asked by the Iowa State Athletic Association to be one of the main announcers for the state softball tournament.
Hey.
He got to do that, being kind of the voice of the Dodgers, as I call him, but just wanted to give Brad a shout out.
Yeah, thank you to Girls State Softball for coming here again. That was pretty cool.
Okay, you get a motion to allow claims?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. That passes. Adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.